Another way that educators start is they collect data out in the field. And so, for example, this one combines a couple of different tools, and I promise to stop with this. Well, I'll talk about one more thing. But let's say you're an educator and you want to have your students map every tree on your campus, or historical homes in your neighborhood, or noise, or water chemistry, or birds, you know what I mean, skateboard parks, etc. So we've got these field data collection tools, and some educators are very, very passionate about field work. So they want to get their students out there, even on their own school campus. I realize there's challenges in getting students outside the campus sometimes. So just even on the school campus, okay, what can we map and then put into an analytical mode, and then create a story map or a dashboard that shows the results. So this one is about walkable neighborhoods. So I pose, hey, take a look at these photos. Is it walkable or not? How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 6, let's say? And then I've got some text about care about walkability, economic, aesthetic, health reasons, etc. But inside the story map, then I've got a simple survey. And right now it's crowdsourced. That means students could actually take this survey, and students can also create these field surveys. This particular tool is called ArcGIS Survey 123. And this one is 5 questions, right? Is this place pedestrian friendly or not? Rate it, tick all the choices that describe it. Where is it? And do you have a photo of it? So then the results of that go into a online interactive ArcGIS Online web map, where my own points and also people's points that they've collected out in the field go into this. Here you can see this photo looks like somewhere in Albuquerque. So anyway, the last part is that educators and their students can create a dashboard. And I always ask students and teachers, has anybody seen dashboard? And just about everybody on the planet has seen that at some point in the last few years, right? And this is the same tool that the JHU COVID dashboard was created in. This is a little bit simpler, but the nice thing about these tools is that they're all configurable. There's no coding required, although if students know a little bit about how to build expressions, that's another powerful thing that they can do with GIS. They're all based on Python and JavaScript. But this particular dashboard, I want the pie chart to be in the upper right. Okay, drag it to the upper right. I want an indicator to be in the middle right. So I'm dragging it to I want the map to be in the upper left. So you can see it's just like little tiles that I'm just going to move around on this canvas. And then I'm liking the looks of that, done. And it updates. The powerful thing, of course, is that this particular one, as well as any one the students or faculty create, automatically updates as new data comes in. So right now, you can see there's 1,300 points. If I shared this with students, which I have, and that's probably how that Albuquerque one got on there, because I was down there in January. Anyway, the point is, it gets added. And so some educators actually start with this. I think one of the powerful things is that this whole thing here, this story map, the dashboard, the web map, and the survey, we're not talking months, years to create. The story map took me about 2 class periods. The dashboard took me about 2 class periods. The survey took me literally 30 minutes. You're just dragging and dropping, kind of like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms, true, false, Likert scale, multiple choice. And then the final dashboard, again, so we're talking about maybe 6 or so class periods to create all of those elements. And they're all connected. That's the powerful thing about this ArcGIS platform. So that's the second to the last thing I wanted to share. The last thing really, and then I really want to have a nice discussion with you folks. I have a particular interest in having students understand where the data comes from. So for example, if we go to ArcGIS Online, so this is just ArcGIS Online, I've added the wildfire perimeters, current wildfire perimeters, and I've added the population density. So, okay, where are the wildfire perimeters versus the population density, right? We can see this one in the mountains southeast of you in New Mexico. What's the population density? Why do we care about that one versus in terms of potential human impact as opposed to other ones? So the idea is you've got these layers available through this plus sign here, where I can say, I want to add data. Where does it come from? How do I know if I can trust it? And so this whole spatial reserves blog and book that I write for is all about how do you know where to find data, spatial data that you can map? How do I know if I can trust it? and then other societal issues like location privacy, copyright, ethics. How do I make a map, and what colors do I choose, and what classification method, and what projection? All those influence someone's perception of that issue. So you need to be thoughtful about this, particularly because anybody now can create and share these maps. Students, faculty, anybody. It's no longer just the Nat Geos and the Esries of the world, right? It's anybody, which is great, but I do want them to be critical of data, including map data, because maps tend to be trusted. And so I think it's extra important that we sprinkle those ethical discussions into classes, even at the K-5 level. Anyway, the point is I know that's kind of a whirlwind, and I could give you more about, well, what can we do from this map right here in a moment? And I'll just turn these other layers off, but just ever so briefly, let's say we want now, I've got these counties in New Mexico, okay? And now I want to change this to what about let's go to the county level, okay? And let's turn off the zip code level, and now let's go to the county level. And in the county level, notice I've got to increase the visibility here. To see counties, turn that on, and all I want to do is say, where are the most populous counties? So all I have to do is change the field to be total population. And then again, where does that data come from? In this case, it comes from the US Census Bureau, not perfect data, but very useful. So now I've got some choices here to make that, okay, I want to look at population, and the default is going to give me these little red circles. That's not that useful. What if I want counts and amounts color? All I have to do is click on counts and amounts color, and now I'm going to get a choropleth map of counties, not just in New Mexico, but since it's the US Census Bureau, I'm going to say, let's filter this, and let's say, and this is where a little bit of expression building is very useful. Have students think about, well, really what I want is the state abbreviation to be NM, right? If I do that and save, and now I only have New Mexico. So at that point, now I've got, something that I could take a look at. And that's just one example of, okay, well, what about where the kids are, right? Where the K-12 students are as a percentage of the total population. Maybe that's a different pattern entirely. I don't know. It's just that's the next question that I would ask, an educator or a student. Hey, where do you think the kids are? Is there a higher percentage of Bernalillo County? Maybe not. Maybe it's Santa Fe County. Maybe it's Roswell, Tucumcari, et cetera. Anyway, that's the idea, is that they're engaging in questions, and I hope that's helpful. But with a couple of clicks, you've got a lot of information at your fingertips. Okay, that's a lot of words. Sorry about that. Is that too much? You're like, Joseph, stop. I hope that was engaging, and it's like, okay, there's a lot they can do here. This particular book that I just co-wrote, it's all about using these mapping tools to teach math, expressions, geometry, set theory. I'm going to intersect landslides and floods. Now give me the areas that are both landslide and flood at risk, that kind of stuff. So, and none of those lessons require any sign in at all. Yep. This is a little bit geeky, but these little red schoolhouses, you probably have seen this in the past, indicate what schools have an ArcGIS Online license.
All right.
You know what I mean? I would start, though, before you go into that, what's an ArcGIS Online organization? Why would I even want one? Think of this as like a two zones. First, all the stuff that I showed earlier required no sign into anything. And that's, I think, really powerful. You can make maps and look at wildfires, health, population, land use, et cetera, without signing in. Now, why would you want to get this ArcGIS Online organizational account to sign in? Because if the students or the teachers wanted to save any of those maps, and for example, if the students, we were talking about earthquakes and tsunamis. Okay, if they save that map and then they made a story map about, hey, okay, every student has to come up with two paragraphs about why tsunamis matter, what are they, and where the biggest tsunamis have happened. Okay, so they use the map, but they also create that text inside there. And if they save that and share it with their teacher, the teacher can use it as a assessment tool. But the saving part requires, just like, Google Docs or anything else, you have to sign in to save it because you have to have a place to park it. So that's where these little red schoolhouses come in. Well, these schools have already signed up to get an ArcGIS online organizational subscription, which is free, but we don't know exactly how much they're using it. That someone at the school has signed up for one in the past. That's all. So I would start with all the stuff that you don't have to sign in. And then when they get interested, say, okay, and now if you want to save those maps because you don't want to recreate them right before the bell rings on Monday morning, okay, here's how you do that. So I would start with all the no sign in, because to me it's like, well, why do I know if I want that car? I want to test drive it first. You know what I mean? It's kind of that analogy. Yep. I mean, I want to have the educators be semi comfortable with these things. As you well know,